This is Michael Popok, Legal AF. Remember that Arizona indictment of Rudy Giuliani and 17 others, along with an unindicted co-conspirator named Donald Trump, related to the fake electors in Arizona? That case is still going on. It's a criminal case. It's in Arizona. And the day after the grand jury returned its indictment, state investigators from Arizona got on a plane and went to New York to try to serve a summons, not a civil summons, a criminal summons to inform Rudy Giuliani, for instance, that he was an indicted co-conspirator. But Rudy Giuliani's been dodging service of this, what amounts to a courtesy by the state prosecutors. They don't have to do that. They can go and get an extradition order and an arrest order and arrest Rudy Giuliani, drag him on a plane in chains to Arizona to appear in front of a state judge related to his indictment. And that's quickly and rapidly where we're going with this story. Right now, there's now new reporting that the Attorney General's office sent their investigators to New York, got on a plane. They went to his Rudy Giuliani's Upper East Side apartment, and they went to the lobby. Now, I've lived in a doorman building like this, and it's hard to get through. So the doormen in the building told the investigators that they're not empowered to accept service of process. I'm sure there's lots of people in that building that have legal problems and have a process service try to show up. So they were told, we don't accept service. But they try to go up there. They knew that Rudy Giuliani was in his apartment because he was live streaming from the apartment at that time from one of his cockamamie podcasts. But silence. So they weren't able to serve him. They staked out Rudy Giuliani a number of times. I think they thought he was going to be in the bankruptcy court recently when Rudy Giuliani ran into trouble with bankruptcy Judge Lane, but so far to no avail. Now, in the category of F around and find out, this is what will happen to Rudy Giuliani. They're going to try probably one more time. They'll contact the lawyers for Rudy Giuliani, some of them that have appeared in other cases of his, and ask them to accept service of process. He's got a lawyer in the Ruby Freeman and Shea Moss $148 million defamation case. He's got a bankruptcy lawyer that represents him in a Southern District of New York bankruptcy case. He's got a bunch of people around him. And they got phone numbers for him too. And I'm sure they left messages and texted him and or emailed him that they are trying to serve him with this criminal summons. If he doesn't wake up and accept service or let himself be served and arrange it, the Arizona judge, it'll be brought to the Arizona judge who's presiding over the criminal case. He'll issue a arrest and contempt warrant, a bench warrant from the bench in Arizona. It will be transmitted to the court system in New York. It will be given full faith and credit. It will be given judicial recognition, as that term is used, in New York, because that's what we do for sister states. New York recognizes the existence of Arizona as a fellow state and gives its legal processes full faith and credit. Gives them full recognition. Yes, it's technically under the law a foreign jurisdiction, but it's a fellow state. This will go very quickly. And then once the New York judge endorses the bench warrant from Arizona, then law enforcement is going to go track down Rudy Giuliani and put him in handcuffs. Maybe on a plane. He'll show up for an appearance here in New York, potentially in handcuffs, may or may not be bailed out. He'll be arraigned, and then he will be extradited on the next plane to Arizona. That is rapidly becoming what we're going to see with Rudy Giuliani. Now, earlier this week, I just talked about Rudy Giuliani running afoul again of the bankruptcy law. The bankruptcy judge in New York, Southern District, Judge Lane, has said he is disturbed by Rudy Giuliani. Always a good vocabulary word, good adjective to use. In fact, the judge says I could have used less kind adjectives to describe what he believes Rudy Giuliani is doing in his courtroom since his December bankruptcy filing, in denying Rudy Giuliani the ability to appeal the $148 million defamation judgment, and also basically under the second item under F around and find out, Rudy Giuliani is about to have a bankruptcy judge take total possession of all of his exposed assets, which is this same apartment on the Upper East Side of New York, an apartment down in Florida, Yankee World Series rings that he got when he was the mayor of New York, and just liquidate them and sell them and turn them over to a trustee responsible for those assets. That's because in every court system, that Rudy Giuliani has appeared in as of late, he's either lost his bar license, had it suspended, got indicted, violated numerous court orders, and had a $148 million default judgment entered against him, or at least a default judgment on liability, had a bankruptcy judge basically threaten to immediately liquidate his assets, and now he's screwing around with an Arizona criminal judge that will lead to his extradition, right, back to Arizona on an arrest, contempt, and bench warrant. That's where we're going. While Rudy Giuliani writes a book about his view of how the Biden crime family should be prosecuted, which apparently Simon & Schuster is about to publish. I give up. I give up. I mean, Rudy Giuliani led Team Crazy. That's not my phrase. That's a phrase used by other people in the West Wing, including people in the White House counsel's office who called him that, including Eric Hirschman, who worked for Donald Trump. He went 0-70 as Team Crazy captain for all the lawsuits that were filed around the country, Rudy Giuliani, along with his henchmen, Jenna Ellis and Sidney Powell and others. They've all been indicted in multiple states. They've all lost their bar license. And they've all, they've either pled guilty to felonies or they're about to be convicted of them. And now Rudy Giuliani doesn't seem to understand how to comply with federal bankruptcy code and doesn't care about the Arizona indictment against him for election interference and the fake electors. That's not, by the way, the only state that Rudy has problems in. Michigan and Nevada are both also looking into fake electors. Their attorney generals, which are also Democrats, are looking into the fake electors and likely to indict there as well. Rudy's been indicted in Georgia. He was an unindicted co-conspirator in Jack Smith's D.C. election interference case. And I mean, we could just go on. Just a litany, the parade of horribles and the rogues gallery that is Rudy Giuliani's current version of his career. And career is doing a heavy lift in that sentence. We'll continue to follow whether Rudy Giuliani gets extradited to Arizona on a bench warrant. I never thought those words, right? That word salad, I never thought I'd put that together. You know, if you asked me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, would I be putting that sentence together? I'd say, what, are you crazy? But here we are. Team Crazy Captain. And we'll continue to follow it on the MeidasTouch Network and on Legal AF right here. Don't change that YouTube channel. You made it here already. Join them. Free subscribe. Help us build this network. We have no outside investors. You are the network you've been looking for. And then I do a podcast I co-founded called Legal AF. It's on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, only on the MeidasTouch Network. On Wednesdays, I do it with Karen Friedman Agnifilo, former prosecutor in the Manhattan DA's office. On Saturday, my co-founder, Ben Mycelis, and me take over. And then we do hot takes like this one, I don't know, about every 20 minutes on the MeidasTouch Network. If you like my work, go over, slide over to YouTube, MeidasTouch, playlists, Michael Popok, or contributors, Michael Popok. I don't know, you'll find like 1,300 of these hot takes that I've done over the last year and a half, my complete body of work. You like the law at the intersection of law and politics? And then I got a great Patreon for you. We launched patreon.com/legalaf, patreon.com/legalaf. It's like a TED Talk and a law school class. I have a baby. It's made for the non-lawyer and lawyer alike. We make it hopefully really educational about, the DNA, the molecular level of the law, nerd out on it, as my partner Ben likes to say. Civil versus criminal, state versus federal, bankruptcy code, immigration, constitutional rights, women's rights, voting rights, you name it, we're doing it only on the patreon.com/legalaf. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, until my next exclusive video on Legal AF Patreon, this is Michael Popok reporting.
Heary, heary, Legal AF Law Breakdown is now in session. Go beyond the headlines and get a deep dive into the important legal concepts you need to know and we discuss every day on Legal AF. Exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, all for the price of a couple of cups of coffee. Join us at patreon.com/legalaf. That's patreon.com/legalaf.